Welcome all as we congregate to the greatest toy line in community, ever growing, ever changing. As we collect and adapt these figures to our own imaginations and embrace the fun, there's much to learn, especially if you're new to Mythics. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of New to Mythics. Tonight we have the return of David Williams, episode 53. Hey, David, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate it, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, a few months.
It's been a few months, yeah. I wanted to dig right in. Last time we talked, we kind of talked about the things that had inspired you and your art and stuff like that. And I had no idea. So the show aired, I think, the same week, or was it the week after of IshCon? I don't remember if it was.
I'm not. It was definitely beforehand.
Okay.
But
And then IshCon you went to, and like boom, like that was a huge thing for you.
yeah.
And so for people that don't know, I don't know who that would be, but can you tell us kind of what happened? Was it, if I'm wrong, please correct me and then
Sure.
tell me. But so you made your own kind of buzz off
Yes.
custom. Was it for
Yeah.
someone? Or is it for you?
I just made it. I made it for fun. I really, I love Masters of the Universe in the first place. And when all those parts became available, it was just kind of sitting right in front of everybody, and I just assumed someone would make it right away
Mm.
because in my mind it was such an obvious build. And I didn't really see it happening, so I put it together with no intention of anything. We were getting kind of close to Legion's Con at the time, so I was thinking, well, I'll throw it up on my table, as a display for sale, because it was easy enough to make that I'm like, if I needed to, I can make a second. Because I don't tend to keep too many customs. I build them and I have them on display for a while, and eventually I'll either sell them or use the parts or reuse the parts.
Do you make them for you, or do you make them to sell, or?
I make them just for me. I love this toy line so much, and it's so fun to incorporate like customs into it. That's kind of the big challenge for me, is to make figures that look like they belong with Mythic Legions or Cosmic Legions. And in the Buzz Off case, it was a love for Masters of the Universe, an appreciation for the line, and the way that they do Motu tributes is they only use stock parts. They don't use anything new. So it was like, that was part of the challenge, was to make it using existing parts. So it was a bit of just a project for me to make it only using Mythic parts. And obviously it worked out pretty well.
So you made it for the year before's Legion's Con?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so who bought it, if you don't mind me asking?
It was Bill from Dorklair.
Okay. So Bill bought it. And
and I know that he has a Buzz Off collection. So when he showed interest in it, and I was like, I would like, if anybody were to get it, I would like for it to be Bill. Not to mention he's a friend and just a cool YouTuber.
He's a great dude. I love that guy. And so he picked it up, and then was it kind of like people seeing it? Was it like, maybe Bill bringing it to more people's attention, that the studio saw it? Like, how did that work?
Honestly, it was the day I posted it. The studio reached out and said that they really, really liked the custom. And almost like not directly saying that they wanted to make it, but they said, we may have to use that designer, down the road. And I just responded like, absolutely,
Heck
this
yeah.
this is your property. These are your
Right.
parts. But so it was cool. It was just a good feeling to see that like the people from the studio really appreciated
Yeah.
it. And the story goes that kind of everybody shared it with each other around the studio,
Hmm.
because it was, everybody really, really liked the look of it.
So is this the one you made, or is this the one that they made?
That's the original. That's the one I
Okay,
made.
okay, that's the one that you made.
Hmm.
Um, how much work did you have to do to this? Just like,
It was, I mean, it was an entire overhaul. It was like they were all, let's see, those were all deluxe barbarian parts from, for the most part,
hmm,
except for the Spexian legs and the Spexian hands. And originally I was going to use the Spexian gauntlets.
hmm,
So when I painted it, it just didn't look right. It looked kind of too outer spacey.
hmm,
So it was just a last minute thing to use those barbarian gloves and make it look like his skin,
hmm.
similar to like the old action figure. But funny story about this figure. I think I've told this story before, but this was early in my kind of like understanding of new customs,
Hmm.
and I dyed all of the brown parts brown. And since I did that, I didn't treat it. I didn't know anything about dyeing figure parts. I dyed it, painted it all the yellow, and then left the shop for the night and came back, and all the brown dye had seeped through the yellow.
Oh no.
So I actually had to make this custom twice because all the pieces ruined the paint job.
Oh, you're like,
So
shit, man.
I'm always, every time somebody asks about dyeing a figure on the Cabal, I kind of bite my tongue because I've tried to explain it, but it's really hard to explain how to fix it. I don't
Mhm,
know how to fix it. I left it out in the sun for a few days and then washed it a bunch, and
mhm.
it's still, it's still in good shape now. So
And so Bill, he gave it back to you, right? Like he sent it
yeah, after the Anthophilius figure was announced, Bill wrote me a message, and it was just a shipping number, and he was like, this creation should be with its creator or something like that.
That's
And
pretty cool, man.
within a few days, I had it back in my collection. And um, I've since done some work with Bill with like the Dork Lair shirt and pins and stuff. And it's like it's just a camaraderie we have now. Like,
Mhm.
it's that kind of stuff is kind of priceless. So if
Absolutely.
Bill ever needs anything, I would do it instantly.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, that's just another story in that wall of just people, just quality people doing things for each other. You know what I mean? Like in this
absolutely.
community,
Hmm.
it's amazing. Oh, you know what I want to ask you was there is there looking now, like, okay, looking at that custom and then fast forward to now, is there anything that you would do different, like with new parts or anything like that? Would there be anything you would change?
Honestly, I would have done what the studio ended up doing with
Hmm.
the final release. The Valiant Knight with the hinged neck was not available at the time.
Hmm.
Because I was originally going to use the Spexian head, but because of the way that the head sits on the peg, it doesn't work on a normal mythic figure. So that's when I ended up using that Sentry head.
Oh, okay.
But um, since I made it, they released like the Valiant Knight body that has that hinged neck,
Hmm.
and that's what the new one is going to include.
Okay.
So it can house the head with the helmeted head.
Hmm.
So that's the only change I would make. I'm still really happy with them. It's cool to
I
have them in my collection again and
It's
get
phenomenal.
to kind of glance over at it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I just I think everyone in the community was just, and I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm sorry if I
Oh
do.
no, you're good.
I just thought it was such a beautiful moment, like everyone kind of just felt so much, at that time, whether you were there, whether you weren't, just
Hmm.
like how happy everyone was for you. And that, like, it's so cool that they could have just been like, we created this. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, they didn't have
yeah,
to acknowledge you. They didn't have
yeah.
to, like, you know what I mean?
I've
But
said that. I've said that over and over. Is the fact that they one asked me permission, which was super charming, like
right.
something that they didn't have to do, and then invite me out to the convention, and then make the figure with with me alongside the announcement. But the little attributes that they gave the character in its
Mhm.
bio that are similar, that
Yeah.
relate to Arizona and my personality and whatever,
Right.
it really didn't have to be made that way, but the fact that it was, I mean, it's just a testament to how wonderful these guys are and how
Yes.
thoughtful they are as a group.
Yes.
um but yeah, it was unreal. Like, it was such a special moment in my you know human existence. But I mean, along with the community, like, everybody was so positive and so, like,
Yes.
looking out at all the people when it got announced was like, it was heartbreaking. It was just so wonderful to see everybody stand up and clap and
Yes.
smile, and it was crazy to be a part of that. And I will be forever grateful for that moment in time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm grateful that I was there.
Hmm.
And just to share that moment in that room, it's like, I don't know you very well. Like, I've talked to you, and I've BS with you in Legion's chat, but I always had a sense of what a good dude you were, and
Thank you.
and the fact that the Horseman Studio, like, they recognize good. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
like, and I don't know. I mean, I just thought it was a beautiful moment, and I'll never forget it, dude. That was awesome, and
yeah,
I'm,
that was
I'm
that was
happy
pretty
for you.
cool. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. And then I'm looking at this. It's like your figure is like part of an actual wave.
Isn't that
It's
crazy?
freaking. It's insane, dude. Like, that's yours, dude. Like, you made that.
Yeah, it's still unreal until I have it in hand. It's still unbelievable
Hmm.
until I have the production version of it in hand, which I ordered a lot of.
I don't
Um,
blame you. I don't blame you. I would too. I'd be like, look, I did this. Look, I
but yeah, I
made
think
it. This is
everyone's gonna get one for Christmas, and
absolutely,
but
absolutely, and
just
and then it's gonna happen, dude. And I will be there. Like, I will need one signed by you if you don't mind.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be surreal. That's a funny concept, but it's
it
funny because
is.
I've done the same thing. I have an Is Ramirez figure
Mhm,
that I had Israel sign,
mhm.
and we're friends. We chat, but it's just something special to have in my collection, like
Yes.
signed by the inspiration or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
So,
it's if you think about it, it's like I was talking to Trevor about this yesterday, where like people were asking him like for a selfie, and he's like, why? Like, what,
hmm,
but he's not gonna say no, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But it's like he's like, who am I? Like, I'm just, you know what I mean? But it's like in this community, people are fans of other people, and it's not
yeah,
necessarily the studio. It is a studio. Like, I'm fans of all of them, or great people, but I'm also fans of the artists and the people that create, or the people that don't, that are just amazing human beings. Like, everyone contributes in their own way, you know what I mean? And
absolutely.
people in the community. So I'm fans of, like, so many people in this community. And, I mean, Emil does create, but like, he had did a show, I don't even remember, or maybe it was customizing studio, and I think I asked him, or somebody asked, like, what his first figure was. Like, I was kind of doing new to Mythics on customizing studio, and I was like, what was your first figure? And he said a Chronal, and he said that it was very hard to get Chronal, and so he had got a couple, and because he really loved Trap John, he loved the figure. And
Yeah.
he's like, now I've got, a bunch of them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so I was like, so like I didn't have that figure. And so I sent him a message like the following week or something. I'm like, hey, I mean, I go, I would be honored to buy one from you if you would sell me one. And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I'm like, also, please can you sign it? And he
Yeah.
was like, what? Like, why? Like he was like totally baffled, that
Yeah.
I asked him to sign it. He's like, I'm ruining the figure if I'm like, not at all, dude, because I mean, maybe I can't afford your customs, but I know that this is A, from Sweden, B, was yours, and you signed it. Like it's
Hmm.
special to me because I'm a fan of yours.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I still get kind of, for lack of a better term, I still get kind of starstruck when we
yes.
go to Legion's Con or any of these events. Like, I've known who the Four Horsemen were for a considerable amount of my life. Um, so anytime I interact with any of the studio members, I get, almost like shy. Um,
Yes.
and then some of just the community, like um, just some of the people that I watch on YouTube or
Mhm.
I chat to or chat with on Legion's chat. Like
Mhm.
these are people that have become special to me.
Yes.
Like these major players in my life,
Mhm.
and I only see them once a year. Maybe twice if I'm lucky. So it's just a bizarre thing to be a part of that sometimes when
Right.
people do ask for a selfie or consider getting that figure signed, because I'm just the same way.
Mhm.
It's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
um, but again, it's just a bizarre
It
toy
is.
collecting community, because I don't think I could see that happening in any other
Right?
form.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
I call it like a pocket universe. Like we're
it
in
really is.
this little enclosed community that, I'm not saying everyone knows everyone else, but there's like people that just are happy to be part of something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like I'm happy. Like I don't really contribute much, really, but I'm just happy to be able to message you and be like, hey, can you be on this dumb YouTube show? Or like, that people would know my last name and I say hi and make friends. Like just
yeah,
to be part of this is just a gift to me. Like
yeah.
I love it.
Especially from like the beginning of it. Like my first Legions figures, I I bought, um, and was watching the YouTube reviews, and I was watching Mythic Conversations,
Mhm.
and when they started the Four-ish Horsemen o'clock thing, it was I was just as new as the new guy,
Mhm.
um, and it's just so crazy that because of this experience, like you can say hi on these live shows and you get addressed by these people
Yes.
that you're like, these are celebrities.
Yeah. It
My
was a
one of my
rush.
favorite a couple of my favorite memories of like Legion's Con stuff is like meeting like Toy Bro or
Mhm.
Dan Larson, is these guys that are YouTubers that I love,
Yes.
and they're just regular dudes,
Regular dudes.
and they're
Yeah.
they're and they're cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I never met really Dan Larson, but Toy Bro. I mean, we were at intern and I got a ride with Bill and Toy Bro and
Hmm.
Blake, and I'm in the car and I'm like, this is so surreal. Like
Hmm.
I don't really even know. I mean, I kind of knew Bill, but I didn't know Toy Bro hardly at all. And then
Yeah.
we end up going to Wegmans. This is after intern,
Yeah.
and my roommate Andy Cox needed a comb. So he's like, "Can you get me a comb?" And Toy Bro looked at like me buying a comb at Wegmans. He's like, "What do you need that for?" And I'm like, "It's not for me, bro." You know what I mean? But he was
Isn't
just
that?
a funny
I think
dude.
that's so funny. Like the Wegmans experience at Legion's Con is one of a particularly funny one. Like going grocery shopping with a bunch of total strangers
Yes.
that are associated by action figures.
Yes.
is extra funny because you're like, those are real life things. You're like, well,
Right.
I forgot to get this thing, or I need this type of
Dude, I
toothpaste, or
forgot
whatever.
underwear. I forgot
Did
underwear.
you?
I had my shirts, I had beanie shirt, I had shorts, I had a coat, I had figures, whatever, all but underwear. I'm like, fuck, where's my
Yeah.
underwear? So I had to go to Target. I was like, hopefully Wegmans. Wegmans didn't have any, so I had to go to Target. But man, but yeah, Wegmans now is a thing. You got to go to Wegmans when you're in
Yeah,
the
that's my day one thing. If I get in at a reasonable time, yeah, I either hop in an Uber or find somebody who's going, and then go across the street, get everything for the week,
Mhm.
foods and waters and whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the first thing. And then, like, I mean, this last Legion's Con, when everybody got sick,
Yes.
that was my thing on Saturday night. I got done. I closed up Legion's Con, and then immediately went across the street. I was like, my throat was hurting, and I felt kind
Yes.
of weird. So I was like, I'm gonna go get some lozenges. Maybe I talked too much
That's what I thought.
or
I'm like, maybe it
something,
was smoky. Was somebody vaping or something? Like, what? Was I
Yeah,
talking too much? Is the air
yeah,
dry or something? I'm like, what is going on?
yeah. I lucked out, man. It really hit me on Sunday, probably an hour
Yes.
before the con was over.
Mhm.
And at that point, I had sold through all my shirts and most of my heads and stuff. So I spent a lot of time just kind of straightening up, getting ready to just pack up and go upstairs.
Yeah.
And I went upstairs and slept for a while. And then I came back downstairs, kind of kept my distance from everybody, and
Mhm.
and let everybody know that I was like, I'm not feeling well, so we're not gonna hug, we're not shaking hands, but I want everybody to know that I had a great time and I'll see them next
Mhm.
year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I called it early on Sunday, man, and then
It was brutal, dude. It was
that
brutal.
travel that travel day on Monday was miserable.
Oh, yeah. That's
Total,
a long drive
had a
home for me.
fever and everything. Like, I just
Yeah.
felt miserable.
Yeah. It was rough, man.
But
I did want to mention, I wanted to go back for just 1 second. You did this street team.
oh yeah, yeah,
That's
I did
freaking
that.
awesome. You and
Yeah,
Thomas.
yeah, with Thomas Belay. It was up in Mesa, which is about 2 hours away from me, and it was a cool experience. Once we were able to solidify that it was going to be a street team event, the toy show promoter gave us a really good spot right at the
Mhm.
front door and advertised it as like a four horsemen thing. And there was a line outside, and it was chaos. Like, right when they opened the doors, people ran to the table to get skeletons and all, whatever was new at the time. And it was an awesome experience
That's
to
cool,
just
man.
be like a part of it and representing the studio, and just the way people treat you. Like, people still, they don't quite understand the street team event. It's like, we are not
Right.
the four horsemen, we're just selling their stuff.
Mhm.
But people are telling us stories about the first legions they got, or the first cosmics they got, or even the old spawn stuff. I'm like,
Mhm.
we didn't make that.
Right. But that's what it's all about. People
Yeah.
like to share that
Oh yeah.
experience. And that's kind of what my show is. It's just like sharing the experiences that
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
man.
we have
I
in
could
common.
I could talk toys with strangers or familiars for hours on end.
Absolutely.
Like, it's forever going to be my favorite thing, and since it's become something that I can do and share, it's like it just solidified it. For a
Mhm.
really long time, I was the guy in bands that collected toys. I was the grown man with a toy room. Like, they're like, I don't know, the guy with the face tattoos, he collects Ninja Turtles or whatever. You know,
And Lionel.
and Lionel, yeah.
That's right. That's right. Are you gonna try and do that again, the street team again this year, or does it look like it's happening?
Um, I don't know. I mean, that was all Thomas. Thomas ran pretty much that whole thing. He invited me up. I had just done the pins for Legion's Con,
Mhm.
so um, it was like, at that moment, it was like kind of all came to a head. Um, I am considering, there's a Mythic meetup in Sacramento coming up
Yes.
in May. I'm going on vacation in April, but as long as I can make everything work, I'm gonna go out there for a day.
That'd be
And
awesome.
it is a street team event. And I asked the guys, I was like, I'm not gonna sell anything, but like, can I help out? You know, can I just be a
Mhm.
part of it? So I just want to go up there and hang out with those guys because it's Is Ramirez and then Owen Erdling,
Mhm.
Sir Owain.
Yeah, yeah.
He's up there. And then I don't know who's going to come out. I know Wyatt came out last year.
Mhm.
I wasn't there last year, but I just saw the pictures. But
Was
since
Walter there?
Walter, no, well,
He wasn't there
I
last
think
year.
he was there last year, but he
Yeah,
moved, so
yeah, yeah.
he's
He's in
in
the
North Carolina or
Carolinas
something.
now, I think.
So I'm not sure who's going to be there, but I'm loosely planning on it.
Still gonna be fun, dude.
Yeah, it's just anytime you can hang out and talk legions or sell
Yes,
legions or just be around those
just to
people.
be
They're
around it. Yeah, I always, whether it's street team or the actual boys there, I'm
yeah,
hovering. I can't help it.
hmm
I'm hovering. You know,
yeah, and that's where you
people that I don't know. I'm like, what'd you get? What'd you pick up? You know?
yeah yeah, and that's where you meet these people that are buying
Yeah.
figures that you may not even know that you've interacted with in the
Hmm.
cabal or recognize their names or their
Exactly. Yeah.
customs or it's it's so cool. Like it's just fun to that this community has grown to a point of where we all understand that kind of the point is to know each other, you know?
Yes. Yeah. That community and that closeness and something we have in common that we could talk about. You
For
know,
sure.
because who know? I mean, you see at Legion's Con like what a melting pot of people.
Hmm.
You know, like just every walk of life. Um, they're all there, and we all
Yeah.
have this amazing thing in common.
Yeah. And you'll meet these people in chats or in customizing studios or whatever, and you realize that these are real people and they have real problems and real
Right.
concerns and real views on things. You
Right.
know, you know what type of people these, they are outside
Mhm.
of this community, but at Legion's Con, all of that gets left at the door,
Yes. Yes.
regardless of,
Great point. Yeah, because it doesn't
beliefs or
matter.
values. Yeah,
Yeah.
like um, it's it's unreal, man. Just the way that the energy in
Yeah.
that hotel for an entire week, you really can just kind of leave all your concerns at the door.
Yeah. I've never been part of something even remotely similar.
Yeah.
And Legion's Con is just it's like I'm excited right now. Like how many months we have? Like
Oh
7
yeah.
months or
Same
something.
here.
Like I can't wait. Like as soon as he puts that block up for rooms, I'm like, I'll be
Oh
there.
yeah.
Let me
That's
know,
the
you know?
instantaneous thing. As soon as they put up the block, I reserve rooms. I think I'm gonna fly in on Tuesday this year, so I have
Mhm.
a full 24 hours um, or so um, to kind of just adjust. The
Yeah,
time difference. The time difference is rough
I can imagine.
um, because we're so far behind, and depending on where we're at,
Mhm.
with daylight savings time, it's 2 to 3 hours difference.
Right,
So if they do intern at 10 a.m., that's I have to be somewhere at 7 a.m. in my brain,
right.
which
Yeah,
means I got to
because
wake up at 6 a.m.
whatever your clock says, it's your body that's,
Yeah.
your body is feeling it. Your
Yep.
body's like, whoa, too
Yep.
early, David, too early.
Yeah. And
And
it's and
you're
it's
kind of a night owl too, right? Because you're on
I'm a bit
Legion's chat and
yeah, I'm a bit of a night owl, and I am when it does come to mornings, it's it's so hard for me to interact right
Mhm.
after I wake up. And we have such large personalities and such friendly people in our community that like you go downstairs and you're
Yes.
shaking hands and hugging and all
Oh
this stuff,
yeah,
and I'm like,
David.
yeah, I have to adjust my
Yeah.
personality
You're like,
for the
whoa.
time difference. Like I have to wake up,
Yeah.
shower, and then start talking to people.
Yeah. Because I
I'm
mean,
a grouchy morning person.
everyone's happy to see everyone else.
Absolutely.
Like I was just bing, 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 like going
Hmm.
to like every group. I was like, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it? How are you? Hey, because I'm
Yep.
like so happy to
Hmm.
see everyone.
There's a certain charm to see everybody right as they wake up. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's got like puffy eyes and
Yeah. It's like, oh,
they're
I
all
didn't
hung
sleep so
over.
good.
These are it's funny that you don't feel alone. You're not like, oh man, I'm
Yeah.
a mess. You're like, everyone's a mess.
Yeah. But it's good. It's smart though. Like, so by the time things start ramping up, you're already adjusted and you're
Absolutely.
good. So the
Yeah.
earlier the better. Yeah. I think I got there Wednesday afternoon
Hmm.
and then intern the next day. And I always say this whenever I'm taping something, if somebody that's new, sign up for intern because it is
Oh
the
yeah.
most amazing. If you're a fan of this line, intern is like one of the greatest things that you could experience.
Absolutely.
It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah,
So,
and flying in early helps barring like delays and stuff. I showed up at 1 in the morning on Wednesday. I was supposed to be there at
oh shit.
7 p.m. or something like that, but
Yeah. Damn.
it was a disaster.
Yep. I heard a lot of horror stories about
Yeah.
the flying in and flying out and people
Hmm.
sick and it was all
No.
worth it though, right? It was
Oh,
all worth it.
totally. It was a blast.
Yeah. So what was your thoughts on the reign of the beasts?
Oh man. I love this wave. Um, it's so unique to itself
Yes, I
because
agree.
of the context, but these figures are like each individual one has their own special attributes, but something like seeing Basilia and Leodicius are like we know what they're kind of supposed to look like, but
Hmm.
to get to see what Eric's
Right.
actual vision are, those have got to be two of my favorites just because of the familiarity.
Yeah.
But like the Windaje figure, the Cackler,
Hmm.
I can't wait to get that in hand. I've gotten a few Trapiculi and I've opened them all and I've played with
Hmm.
them all and I mess with them all. And they're really they're really on a different level when they make something unique,
Hmm.
you know. So I think that Cackler figure is going to be really really cool in hand,
You think
and
he'll
it's
be
going to
like
be
the sleeper fun figure of the wave?
it's hard to tell. Like
It's
with
hard to tell.
Legion stuff, it's like every figure I open is my favorite figure from the wave.
Right?
You know, I waited till the end with Necronominus to open Bishop and Gideon because I knew that they were kind of a pair, and it was
Oh,
it's a
art.
it's
They're
like
art.
yeah, it's like for lack of a better term, it's like glorious. Like these
Yes.
when you put Gideon on Bishop and you get them all saddled up and geared up, it's like that's like a centerpiece. You know, it's an impressive
Yes.
just
Yeah.
just in general, like the colors and the the shapes and just everything about it is really really epic.
I don't have Bishop. I'm hoping to grab him this weekend at MuskyCon.
Cool.
But yeah, I want another Gideon. So I want Gideon like on my shelf, but then
Hmm.
I want him on Bishop like in action pose, like resplendent,
Oh yeah,
armor flowing and the horse's drapes and
yeah.
like beautiful, like
It's a
epic.
cool look, man. It was again in two separate boxes. I knew that they were cool, but putting them together like on my display up there, it's eye catching among all the figures that are up
Yeah,
there. You know, there's hundreds of figures on the wall. That's a special one, man. They look like they belong together.
yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan, and I do love this Reign of Beasts. Like I love it all, and not to even focus a minute on negative, but I did hear people comment about how different this wave is. Like you mentioned it too, like
Hmm.
it's different from other waves, but I don't see that as a negative. Like people were like, I don't know where to put it on my. I'm like, who cares? It's gorgeous. Like
Yeah,
the colors are beautiful. Like
yeah.
put it right in the middle. Put it,
It's
it's beautiful.
it's a bit like I think it's a bit annoying when when they do a release like this and there are comments like that. Like people forget that it's still they're still telling a story. These are
Right.
characters that all belong in this story.
Right.
So when people are like, "Oh, I don't know where to display them," I'm like, put them with their factions, put them with the people
Right.
that they belong with, you know. Um, but not to mention the work and care that goes into these figures. Like from day one,
Right.
they've done nothing but improve. Like,
Yes.
you know, wave one was all awesome figures, and by now it's just next level. Like these are high quality figures, no matter
Man.
what shape or size they are. You know.
Absolutely. You know, like their originals. Like I'm looking at Scapula right now, the original one, and
Hmm.
it's a beautiful. It's one of my favorite figures.
Yeah,
But
and
then
it's
you know,
just
you turn your head and you look at Gideon, or you look at Frankenstein's creature.
yeah,
You look at Ghost of Christmas Past,
yeah,
like the next
yeah,
level of like their articulation and the head sculpts and the soft goods,
yeah.
just stupid. It's just improved by multiple, but
Oh yeah,
it doesn't detract from their previous works, but they're just Eric has just hit another level of
hmm.
artistry. So when people are like, "Oh, it's not for me," or "This is," I'm like, "Dude, I maybe I take it personal, but it's like you're insulting someone's artwork."
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
you know,
I defend this figure line with all I have. You
I
know,
do too.
anybody who has anything to say with it about it, I have something to respond. You know, and
Absolutely.
it's partially because of my affection for the community and the
Right.
company, but
Right.
like I legitimately love these figures. Like I have a lot of toys, man. I've been collecting toys a long time, and these are like no other. Like to this day, even the companies that do release somewhat medieval stuff or
Mhm.
monsters or anything like that, it just doesn't. It's just not the same level of
Right.
quality, and I just don't get the same enjoyment out of it. And it's partially because of this world that they build. Like
Mhm.
all of these characters belong, you know.
Mhm.
So it's like the variety is cool, but they they're painted smart, you know. Like they all kind of match. It looks, you know, it looks
Yeah.
deliberate. Everything in this line looks deliberate.
Yeah, because I mean, look at the you could see splashes of red in most of the figures,
Absolutely.
you know,
Hmm.
or just you see similar things in there.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm just a fan. Maybe I'm biased, I guess, but
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of
maybe
hard
we're
to.
both biased, but
Yeah, it's
I don't
kind of
know.
hard
It's
to sit and talk about it when you're just like, yeah, they're the best. Everything's the best.
yeah, everything is good. It's all good. I love it
Yep.
all.
Yeah.
So you when you went to Legion's Con, back to Legion's Con a little bit, you
Hmm.
premiered your artwork on a t-shirt, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was. Um,
I love
it's
that.
just for fun. Everybody has a T-shirt at the show. So this year, or last year, I decided to make one.
That's
Um,
gorgeous. I love that art.
yeah, and it went over super well. Like I was able to sell through my whole run of them. Trying to come up with a new design for next year or this year.
I mean, you really don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah,
This shirt will sell again. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's
We'll
it's
see.
beautiful. I just the
I've
detail.
I've considered doing one of those like T Public type of things where
You
I can
should,
just do
man.
designs like this, and you can just order them, whatever size, whatever
Yeah.
shape, whatever color you want. I think that'd be cool. The only difference is I think that Dave Orkin, who does my shirts, he's an exceptional screen printer, and
Yes.
he's able to capture all those details. So
Yes.
I'd hope that if I did it on one of those sites that are made to order, that they'd be able to convey the same detail. But
I think it would. I mean, you can upload art if you have questions. Like I've done a bunch of shirts through T Public. It's not too bad. There's kind of a process,
yeah,
but even if it's not, I mean, even if it's not necessarily that art, you can do something just for T Public. You know what I mean?
yeah, just for
Like,
people to have.
yeah, just for people to have. I mean, it's fun. It's cool.
Yeah,
People want to support other people in this community.
yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
And I mean, it doesn't say anything negative about you. Um, I think people are fans of you and your art. So like, you could have a shirt that said David Williams on it, and people would buy it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But it's worth looking into.
Yeah, I
Um,
might.
but yeah, check it out, dude. Check it out for sure. And then next to this is where did these get turned into pins?
No, these were I made stickers of these. So
Oh, okay,
I share a table with Stephen Bisciotti, who is, Lord Bisciotti, the alpha figure.
right.
So I put these together as like kind of an advertisement. I was like,
Oh, okay. I
because
see now.
that's my figure with his figure.
Yes.
We
Okay.
were sharing a table, so it was like I thought it'd be cool to just like because of my experience making the pins for the Horsemen or for Legion's Con, I kind of know the approach of what looks like kind of good, I
Mhm.
guess, as like just a headshot. So I made those for fun, and I made the stickers. They were giveaways. It wasn't anything we were charging for or anything
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
I grabbed one for sure.
So it was
Yeah.
just cool to be able to have that connection with Steven, and
Yeah.
Steven's like one of the coolest dudes. So I had a blast hanging out with him, and I was happy to be able to do something kind of cool for him.
Yeah. Yeah. That is awesome. I wanted to show off this amazing work, dude. Like, I remember when did 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 Jeremy post this first, or did you post it? Like, what was the?
So I just posted. I drew it because I was excited. This was truly just a drawing that I made for fun because I was excited about the
It's
Bayethir,
man.
and he reached out the day before the week of the campaign, and he said, would it be okay if we use your Bayethir to kind of kick off the week? And I was like,
Yeah.
absolutely, like I'd be honored. Like
Hell yeah.
it's posted on Four Horsemen's Instagram,
Yeah.
like, and it goes back to that thing where it's like I've been a fan of these guys for so long, and for them
Right.
to not only know my name,
Right.
but to use something like this, um, for to kind of kick off the week, was just it's just extra special, extra cool.
You had a great year last year, man.
I did. I mean, I've said it before in whatever context. I lead a pretty charmed life. I draw pictures for a living, um, and that's my daily. You know, but to be able to work my abilities or talents or whatever into something like
Mhm.
this, um, makes it that much more fun. On top of the fact that it's been recognized by some pretty incredible people.
Right.
So it's like to say I'm having a good year is kind of every day.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, it's good that
even
you
though,
recognize that though too. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
absolutely. Like
you're a humble dude and grateful for
absolutely. If
the
it
things that have happened.
even before the Cabal or Mythics, I still, again, I wake up every day and I draw pictures, and then that's it.
Mhm.
I don't have high stress in my life. I got a cool cat who's back
You have
here,
an awesome
or he
cat.
was.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone.
An awesome
Um,
living room. I love that
yeah,
living room.
awesome
I've
cat. I
only
got an
seen
awesome
that
living room.
angle, but I'm like, even if you're not there, I know that that's your place.
Yeah,
Even if you're
yeah. It's a.
gone, and I
I
know that's
considered doing that this time when we were going to do this interview. I have like a dining room table over here that is in front of a massive collection of mythics, but for whatever reason, this house is made of like this is like a cement house.
mhm.
So the router is in the back room, and when I go into this corner, it's like the service is really spotty.
Okay.
So so I that's why I never am over here, or over on that side, because
Mhm.
it's a much more impressive view of
Right.
figures. But this is I'm just sitting on my couch right now. This is
It's famous. Well, it's famous for me because that's where I always see Allegiance chat, playing
yeah,
your video game and chatting and talking
yeah,
with everybody.
yeah,
So I'll ask, you don't have to share. Like I know that it's not like um the horsemen, they like their surprises and they have a lot of
sure.
things planned and stuff. So if I say something or ask something that you can't really go into, I hope there's no disrespect
Oh,
from
sure.
um when did they reach out for collaboration stuff? Like when did they was it right around the was it when they contacted you about, can we use this, this custom that or we're
Mhm.
doing this we're so did they had already um created that buzz off, right? Or
So I've had a working relationship with Jeremy for a while,
okay.
because I was painting 3D printed parts for Legion Shop.
Oh, okay. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, so we already had a friendship, and he was the one that reached out about the Buzz Off tribute,
Okay.
and then it was just through natural conversation when it comes to collaboration,
Hmm.
and with the Legion's Con pins, it was the same thing. It's something that Jeremy runs with Joe Viteri and with the Horseman Blessing. So it's like when I did the pins, that was for Legion's Con. It wasn't necessarily for the
Okay.
Four Horsemen. Um, but yeah, it's more like we said with this community where we all just became friends.
Right.
So it's like when Jeremy reaches out, or when I talk to anybody like that, it's a friendly conversation.
Hmm.
It's never been like a business acquisition,
Right, right, right.
Um, um, so yeah, it was when he reached out about the buzz off. Um, we ended up talking on the phone about a couple of things, and that's when he was like, would you be interested in maybe working on some pin stuff? And because at the time, Nate, their in-house artist, was, he's to the top, busy.
Hmm.
So
Right.
it was like something that's like a side thing like that. I think that I believe they understand that they can count on me anytime. Like,
Right.
again, I don't have a ton of crazy stuff going on. I can sit down and draw almost
Hmm.
anytime.
Right.
Um, and so I think that was the case, and I hope to continue to do stuff like that, or
Right.
I hope to
Right.
continue to be considered for stuff like that, because one, I truly enjoy the property, and two, I like to help my friends out.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's got to be an honor for them to, reach out to you and want to collaborate, using their properties,
sure.
but your interpretation
Hmm.
of that, I think they mentioned a comic book.
So
Was
that's Joe Suter is working on the comic book. Um, as far as I know, I'll still be contributing to the lore book. The
Oh,
first, I forget what the book is going to be called.
oh, okay. Because I knew your
Um,
name was in there somewhere, and I couldn't remember what it
mhm.
was exactly that you're collaborating
Yeah,
with.
and so it would be that,
Okay.
which I know as much about that book as you guys do.
Okay.
Like it's still in the editing
Works.
process, or in the whatever stage it's in.
Um,
Um, and considering what they have going on now, I think there are priorities ahead of that kind of thing.
I mean, they have these machinations that
Hmm.
I think is so interesting of like all of their things that they have lined up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
how they had to be so organized on, this is coming out then, and then we have to market this, and
Yep.
then we've got to get this in the factory, and then we've got to talk about this, and then you know what I mean? Like they've got so
Absolutely.
much. Um,
It
the
seems like
Lord,
a
go ahead.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
gonna say it seems like a nonstop machine. Like they really have dialed it in,
Yes.
and I mean it's a powerhouse. Everything that they're doing is
Yeah.
just again next level. You know.
Yeah. But with
Um,
the size of the team
oh yeah, it's a
is
small team, but
insane.
they're these are incredibly uh, talented individuals um, that are capable of so much more than just one thing.
Yeah.
You know, when you get somebody who has a specialty, it's hard to ask them to do something else.
Right.
But I feel like they've handpicked people that can work on on a schedule or on a deadline. They can do multiple types of
Mhm.
things. It's not just painting. It's more fabrication or
Right. Right. Right.
creation or like and everybody seems to have a voice as far as I can tell. It's
Yes. I've noticed
so
that. And
so
they
it sounds.
listen. They listen
Mhm.
to them, which
Yeah,
I
so it
think
sounds
is,
like they just have a machine that's just running. So
yeah,
whenever they get to the part they need help with,
call you up.
yeah, absolutely,
Can I ask one question
absolutely.
about the lore book? Will
Hmm.
it will they utilize your style, or will it be, do you know what I
As
mean? Does
as
that make
far as
sense?
again, I know as much about the book as you guys do. Um, but at Legion's Con, Jeremy did show a page with an image of Thrace that I did,
Yeah.
and it is in that style. It'll just be the
Okay.
black and white style, as far as I
Good
know.
deal. Good deal. No, I
So,
love that they reached out to you, that they reached out to Eric Miller, that they
uh-huh.
reached out, to people in the community whose art they respect,
Yeah,
and are cultivating that, and wanting to, further their stuff,
yeah,
but also not, changing, or giving you guys, room, and letting you be yourselves, if that
sure.
makes sense. I was talking to Trevor about his photography, and I'm like, how much free reign do they give you? Do they let you be, creative, or is it like, you've got to be this, got to be this, got to be this? You know what I mean? And he's like,
Yeah,
it's kind of a balance. They kind of
yeah,
share what they want, but then they also want you to be yourself,
sure.
which I think is sweet, man. That they, because they could hire, like,
They could,
an artist that's a good artist, but I think
absolutely.
it says something good about you, and some other people, that they want your interpretation. They want your art.
I do have to consider that and think about that often. That like the people that they do choose to work with are exceptional people. So to be involved in any way, shape, or form is um, it it makes you feel a certain way. Like the imposter syndrome never goes away, at
Right.
least in for me. But sometimes I have to step back and really appreciate the fact that I was asked in the first place. Like
Right.
because as far as I know, they only hire cool people. They only hire good people,
Exactly. Yes.
and
Exactly. Everyone
even
I've
to
met that is part of the studio are the nicest, coolest damn people.
yeah, like exceptional people.
Yes.
Like not just nice or cool. Like they're particularly kind
Yes.
or particularly talented.
It's intentional, dude.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's totally intentional. So I want to ask before I let you go. Um, this is the coolest goddamn swig, in my opinion, that I saw. So what happened to this swig?
I still have him. He's on my
Okay.
he's on my display. I I'm a big we could talk about music forever and never at the same time. Um I like a lot of black metal, like
Mhm.
that style of music. But
Yeah.
it's again, it's like a particular style of black metal that I like. It's not
Yeah.
really the whole thing,
Right.
but the association that connects them all is kind of like the corpse paint.
Mhm.
And that's my go-to Halloween thing. If I have to do something, I'll just paint up my face
Yeah.
and go about whatever. And when Terrence brought up that he would thought it would be cool if everybody tried to bring 1,000 swigs
Such a
to
great idea.
Legion's Con, the first thing I did was just give it corpse paint and a black hood, and I'm like, oh, there's mine, you know. But as it got more serious, everybody started making them. I gave them like a full body, so it was like
Yeah.
I tried to use little attributes of black
Yeah.
metal in there, but
I
it
love it.
was
That was my
for
favorite
fun, and
one.
it was that little dude has been like kind of my carry around figure anytime I travel. I have that bag with me all the time. That's where when you travel, there's like a good travel bag,
Yeah.
and he fits perfectly around that button, so I can snap him in, and he just sticks out.
Yeah. This is
Uh,
actually my picture. I ran into you at in the elevator,
oh yeah,
and I'm like, "Where's your swig at, man?" And you like kind of pulled them out, like, or showed them, and I'm like, "Yes, hell yeah, dude," because I needed to see him in person.
yeah, that was a fun
Um,
one, but it's
love it.
again, it's just those things that like they let us make unique things, and it's like the fact that everybody thought that was cool was pretty fun because it's such a bizarre style of music and genre of music, that I don't necessarily think everybody should go out and listen to black metal, but at least their association, if they see that on TV, they're like, "Oh,
Right.
David made
Yes.
a corpse paint swig,"
Right.
and kind of
Exactly.
see the humor in it a little bit.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely. Man, I thank you so much for your time, dude.
dude,
I asked for
anytime.
an hour. You gave me an hour. I appreciate it. Is there is there do you before you go, I just wanted to ask, so if people are interested in like customs or heads or something, are like, I know you're a busy guy. Do you still take those requests, or do you just bring stuff to shows?
Here and there, I'll take requests. It's commissions are. Maybe it sounds bad, but commissions don't tend to be worth their time as much.
Right.
They're fun to do, and I like to have projects, but it does take away from my projects, my
Right.
personal,
You gotta
things that I
mail them,
want
you
to
gotta
do.
paint them, you gotta mail them, you gotta
Yeah, and
yada yada
it's a
yada.
lot like tattooing. Like I would love to just do tattoos I like every day and draw pictures I like every day, but people have requests, and I would say 5 out of 10 times that request isn't the choice you would have made,
Right.
but they're paying for it.
Right.
So you do your best and make a quality product that I sometimes I don't want to be associated with.
Right.
Like if
Yeah.
that, I mean, I know that sounds weird, but like
No, I
sometimes I'm
get it.
like, here's your guy. This was your idea. Make sure everybody knows this was your idea, you
Right.
know? And that kind of goes with tattooing, where it's like there are times where I have to sit down with clients and I'm like, are you sure? Like, is this what you want forever?
Right.
But
Yeah,
so
no, I
it
get it.
just it can just be difficult, and it can be a little less inspiring.
I was gonna
When it
ask you that. Yeah, because like,
you know
is it like it's hard because if somebody asks you like, hey, paint me, I don't know, Ronald McDonald with a
Yeah,
AK, it's
yeah,
like, okay, but it's not really what I'm interested in. It's not
yeah,
really my aesthetic. I'll
yeah,
do it because you're paying me, but like, do you feel
yeah.
like your quality or it's not as quite as good as if it was something that you were really inspired and had the fire to make?
Well, that's what I was saying, is that like the quality aspect of it will stay the same no matter what, whether it's
Mhm.
made for me or for someone else. I will put 100% into it. The subject matter is when it becomes, not my problem. I'm
Right.
like, this is what you want. It's going to be as good as I can make it.
Mhm.
Um, and I'll put 100% into it. It's just the subject matter is when it becomes
Right.
a job, yeah, a
Yeah,
chore, and it's
that
like,
makes it less fun for
again,
you.
I like my job,
Mhm.
you know. but there are chores that come with my job.
Right.
Um, and same with commissions. Sometimes there are just commissions that I take because I like to paint and I enjoy the medium, but at the end of the day, the subject matter is less than interesting to me.
Right.
But it's all, no matter what, it's all experience, and I think it's important for every artist, whether it's on paper, on plastic, on cars, on anything. I think that it's important to improve with every project you do.
Absolutely.
Like learn from every product or project, so that you don't become stagnant and you don't like you're not just making the same thing over and over.
Right.
It's like really important to challenge yourself and improve upon yourself every day. I mean, again, that goes with any type of art or just your everyday life. I think it's important to just see improvement in yourself.
Right. I think fun too is
Absolutely fun. Fun is that helps too.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
I'm glad you posted this and I'm like, I got to have that. So I hit you up. So I'm grateful that I have this one and I have an Averona that you painted for me.
Yeah,
and I'm happy.
Those are fun projects.
Yeah.
Those are enjoyable things. I like to paint faces. I like to paint hair. I like to paint helmets. Like I enjoy that stuff. But when it becomes a full specific custom for someone, that's when it's like you lose your voice.
Right.
Doing that, they're like, I want it this way. It's got to be these colors because I have a plan and a story for them, and that's cool that people create these characters. But again, it's their own project, so you don't have as much of a say.
Right. So if someone said, David, make me, I want a badass knight, a female knight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you do. I just female and knight. That's it.
Easy.
Now, that'd be funner for you because
that's when it becomes fun. It's like I get to sit down with a blank canvas and do what inspires me.
Right.
I do like guidelines. I do appreciate a guideline where they're like, a female knight Leodicius or a female knight Xylona. Like, so that you're either going to use green or you're going to use red. Like just as a base. And that's kind of the fun aspect of it, of like creating something that they want in your own interpretation.
Right. And then because it's still some of you, because you're putting your personality and thoughts and ideas into it. So they're giving you some guidelines, but you're able to create, to tap into that creative part of you and make something badass.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's regardless of how much work is put into it or how much effort is put into it, forced into it, it's still fun. It's like I love toys. I love action figures.
Me too, man.
So
me too.
At the end of the day, it's pretty cool to make a couple bucks painting a toy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you, my friend. I won't take any more of your time.
Cool, man. Well, it's good to hang with you again.
Yeah, man. I hope to do it again. I'm a fan, and I look forward to seeing you Allegiance Chat every Friday. And thank you again for your time. I can't thank you enough.
Of course, man. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
And I am gonna message you about a female knight because I want one.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Thanks, David. Appreciate you.
Thanks, bud. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Remember, friends, to always have fun, be curious, share, and enjoy what this line has to offer. Come for the toys, but stay for the friends. Good night, and thank you very much.